We are back. Episode 41 of the Reporter's Corner. I'm one half of your co-host, Jared Rubado with the Bemidji Pioneer. With me is the better half of the co-host, Trent Singer from Sioux Falls Live. Trent, how are we doing today?
It's the Thanksgiving edition. Of course we're doing good, Jared. I mean, how are you doing, man? It's a good time. It's a good time of year, and the beeves are hot. I mean, and I said it. Don't let the beeves get hot, and Northern Michigan just let them get hot. So they're hot.
But more importantly, we're thankful for William Ahlrik today.
We are
thankful to be joined by Lake State sophomore forward William Ahlrik, who, I'll go ahead and say it, the best face-off taker in the CCHA right now. And you know how much I love face-offs, Trent. But more than that, 14 points in 14 games. Trent, what did we get into with William Ahlrik about?
Well, yeah, it was I think the one thing I really took away from our chat with him is just discipline. I mean, he is a very structured and disciplined guy, and very committed. I think it shows in his game. You talk about his impressive numbers on the faceoff dot. He's almost at 61%, leads the CCHA in faceoff percentage, and that's a big part of his game. And so we talked a little bit about that towards the end of this episode, but we don't often get the chance to talk to European-born players, and he's from Sweden, so we got a little bit of his perspective on growing up in a small town in Sweden, Tidaholm, Sweden, which is a small town on the Tiden River in right there on the border of Sweden. So talked a little bit about that, and how he kind of made his way through the ranks. He played one season of J20 junior hockey in the Swedish junior hockey league before he made his way in what we describe as a pretty massive culture shock, landing in Oklahoma with the Warriors and the Null. And he spent 2 seasons there, really kind of broke out that first year, had 52 points in 55 games in the 2022-23 season. They won a championship that year, I believe, too. And the following year, he pretty similar pace. He had 40 points in 50 games. And then obviously he makes his way to Lake State. And so we got his perspective on kind of what stood out the most about, making that jump to come to Sault Ste. Marie, and why ultimately, Lake State was the fit for him, and talked a little bit about his freshman year and kind of what he's, really focused on in the offseason going into that sophomore season for him. And, it's a Lake State team that had a little bit of struggles here in the early part of the season, but had a really solid weekend last weekend down at Ferris State, came away with 6 points. And I know they're feeling pretty good. They got the Vikings coming to town this weekend. So I know I'll be watching, this series between these two teams. And, of course, we closed it out with our one-timers and just a great guest. I mean, we've really been pretty blessed this season and having some good people on the show week in and week out. And William Ahlrik was no different. So I think, for Lake State fans, they're really going to enjoy this one.
Was this also our first European?
It's a good question.
I think it is. Looking back at our old guest, Trent, I'm pretty sure this is our first one from across the pond.
We've had some Canadians. We have yet to go across the pond and talk to somebody. But, like I said, I thought it was an outstanding interview. So well spoken for, they teach English in Sweden. So they usually are pretty good English speakers when they make their way over here. But at the same time, not really any tough communication barrier or anything too. So it was a really good chat with him. And like I said, I think people are going to enjoy this one.
So let's kick it over to our interview with William Ahlrik.
All right. Well, we are back with another episode of the Reporter's Corner here. And joining us, we're going to take a trip up to the Upper Peninsula over to Sault Ste. Marie. We have William Ahlrik on the show. William, first things first, man. You guys, coming off a pretty solid weekend against Ferris State. You guys got 4 points on the road, but you personally off to a hot start this season. 14 points already through the first 14 games, averaging a point per game. For you, just walk us through what's been the biggest difference in your game to just sort of allow you to have such a strong start to this season.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know. I just, from last year, I felt like I came in pretty good, and my game is not necessarily to do the points. Probably I'm more of 200-foot guy. A guy that I want to be a guy that the coach can rely on, and play both ends. And even if we are down one goal or up a goal, I want to be the guy that can be on the ice at any time. So I don't know. I guess that you are not complaining when the points are getting there too, because it looks good. But like I said, like that's not my focus. I'm just trying to be a guy that the coach can rely on, and he knows that I'm gonna do the job every practice, every day, every game. But yeah, I mean, of course, it's been a good start, and I feel like me and the team as well have been struggling like a little bit early on, but I feel like the last couple of weekends we've been really finding something and building chemistry and all of that. So yeah, I think we're on the right track here.
Yeah, and I obviously, your point production too. You got 11 assists on the season, and you can't get assists without other guys scoring the goal, right? I mean, you're centering a line with a freshman in Callum Mangone, and obviously that junior over there in John Harrington, 11 and 9 points for both of them. How do you feel like they've helped elevate your game, and how do you guys sort of complement one another?
Yeah, I mean, it was my first weekend playing with Mangoni there, and he's such a good player. Super smart, and he can make plays all over the ice. So I think me and him, especially, we're thinking the game kind of the same way. Not the fastest guy, maybe both of us, but we both want to make plays and all that. Kind of smart hockey players, and I think we are complementing each other pretty well that way. And then I've been playing, I think last week, and it was actually Ryan Becker that was on my line. But, but we've been switching it up a little bit. But I think that we are, we've been having some couple of good weekends here for sure, like you said. And, even if we're getting a D-zone start, O-zone start, I think that we are, getting something good out of each shift. So, yeah, I think we've been finding something here.
I want to ask you a little bit more about Callum Mangone too. I mean, this kid he tore it up in the OHL last year and comes in as probably one of the more skilled freshmen in this league. And you probably got to see that early on in training camp and in the preseason part. Just how skilled is he as a freshman, and how big is that to welcome a kid like that into this class for you guys?
Yeah, no, he's super skilled. I think he had like 80 points or something last year in O. So, yeah, no, he's super skilled, and you could tell really early on in the season that he was such a good player. And it's just it's fun watching him every day in practice. The things he can do, and then being on the line with him too. It's so fun because he can do so much things. So I'm just trying to be out there and have my stick on the ice, and anything can happen. So he's a great guy too. So I'm really happy for him. And it can be a hard transition coming from the those leagues, but he's been really fitting in well here. So super happy for him, and I'm excited to play with him too.
For sure. And like Trent said, I mean, it was a big weekend for you guys in Big Rapids playing against Ferris. You get the win in regulation, you go to overtime. It was a tough stretch to open up league play against a lot of really, really tough teams with Minnesota State, Bemidji State. But how big can a 4-point road weekend be for you guys, and just starting to get some confidence and get this thing going on the right track into the second half of the year?
Yeah, no, that's huge for sure. I mean, we've not been, where we want to be. Like you said, we've been playing some good teams, but just to get that win and to get, 4 points out of 6 on the weekend, we're taking that, because we're getting 4 points every weekend from now on. We're going to be a home ice team in the, for playoffs. So, I mean, we're not where we want to be at right now yet, but I think we're on the right way, like you said. And, just let's start from practice too. Like we need to stack those days so we can stack those weekends as well. So I think that there was a good weekend for us that we can build on here.
Well, let's dive into your hockey career a little bit. Always fun when we get somebody from across the pond to get to hear their perspective on kind of how the hockey journey started. You're from Tidaholm, Sweden, which is a small town located on the Tiden River. I did my research here. What can you tell us a little bit about your home country, your hometown, and just kind of how hockey became such a focus in your life?
Yeah, no. So like you said, I'm from a pretty small town. Growing up, I played a lot of sports, especially hockey and soccer was those sports that I was, mostly in. And I think I played soccer and hockey, or I played soccer until I was 15, and then I had to, choose either if I wanted to go play soccer or wanted to go play hockey in school. And I chose hockey because um, I think that most of my friends played hockey, so I moved away from home when I was 15 to go to school about an hour from my town. Played there for 4 years. Lived on my own, and I think I learned a lot from that. Being away from your parents, you had to cook on your own, do laundry, whatever it is. I think you learn a lot of stuff from that. So that was huge for me. And then after that, I played for HV71 in their youth and juniors for 4 years. So that was a great time because I got like a great dedication, hockey wise, on the ice, off the ice, and I have a lot to thank that city and team and coaches and everything I had there for. And then I came here because after you have done those years in school, you're if you want to get an education like in university or college, whatever, we don't really have that opportunity in Sweden where you can go to school and combine it with a sport. So with my advisor at the time, we were talking and decided that, I wanted to get that education while I wanted to, keep playing hockey. So the best I could do was to try and go here and get into college. So I played in the NAL for 2 years down in Oklahoma. During that first year, I talked to a couple of schools and Lake State wanted to sign me. So I'm super happy for that. On their journey, I guess.
Yeah, I want to bring it back to your J18 seasons with HV too, because obviously in looking through your career progression, that's where it really started to seem like your commitment to the game really came to the forefront. What do you remember about those 3 seasons and just how impactful it was for you in getting you to this point you're at right now?
Yeah, I think those 3 years were probably, or 4 years really, and those were the years that really formed me as a person and as a hockey player. And that was the time when I realized that hockey was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Like just things we did, because we were at the rink from like 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. And I learned so much from it, even on and off the ice, and the coaches I had, and teammates I had, and funny stories that, and it was during COVID when I played at J18, and I was captain on the team at the time, and Connor Bedard came and played on my team for a couple months. So that was such an experience. Awesome. He came, because they closed down the dub there during a couple months, I think, early on in the season. So he came over, practiced, and played a couple of games with us. So that was pretty cool. I had to, show him around the city and all that. So that was a cool experience. Yeah.
How good of a hockey player was he at that point too, and just stepping out of the CHL for a few months and coming over?
Yeah, it's hard to describe. Like he came there, I think he was 15 probably at the time, and he had 50 flex, stick, and he was just incredibly good. Like, and he was 2 years younger than me at the time, and then he played with us in the G18 for a couple of games, and then he was just too good, so he moved up to the G20 team and played there for the rest of that stretch. So he was so good.
Was there a part around that, like in the showing him around town part, where he just looked like a lost little puppy around, maybe, where you're just like, oh.
Yeah, for sure. He did have his sister with him. His sister was there. Okay. She was there too. But yeah, he was young, and I think we were young too. We were like 17, but like he was even younger, and he was like in a foreign country and all of that. So and we didn't really realize either like how good he was at the time. I think. I mean, he was so good, and he was like way better than all of us, but like we didn't realize how good he was, I think.
That probably would have been about when he was really popping off too. I mean, right around 2020, 2021.
Exactly.
Really people starting to catch the eyes and see that this guy was going to be a first overall pick. I want to ask about your first junior season in Sweden too, because you played in the J20 league. You played 51 games in the J20 national game league and 25 points for an HV team that qualified for the postseason. How big of a stepping stone was that experience for you? Because we'll get into a little bit of the Oklahoma stuff, but obviously that was kind of your first taste of guys who were a little older than you, right? And getting to see them on the ice.
Yeah. It's kind of a big step from going from the G18 to the G20. So some guys are doing that, just doing one G18 year and then moving right away up. But for me, the coaches, I stayed down in G18 and I was the captain there for a year instead. And then I was more ready to come up the year after for the G20. And I think that, we had a really good team that year. I think we lost in the quarterfinal, but we had a good team. So I didn't, I think I was maybe, third liner and whatever. I learned so much from, just what a great coach. He's in SHL right now. And we had great team and great teammates. And, that's a year that I'm going to remember for a long time. We had a great team and learned a lot from that. So it was a great time.
The following year, you have what could probably be the biggest culture shock for any hockey player in going from Sweden to Oklahoma. Not just the U.S., but into the South, the heart of the South. I'm sure Trent will take some umbrage with that one, but
not the South, sir.
It's in the South. Talk to me about that adjustment for you and maybe the culture shock that came with it.
Yeah, that was big. I mean, never been to the States before. I guess we have English in school, but
right.
like just basic stuff. So I barely, speak that in English, right? But I came there and I was fortunate that, I came to this lady and that was my billet mom. And there was actually one billet. So when I came there, they were missing a billet. So I didn't have one.
Oh, wow.
And she was like a friend or kind of to the one of the assistant coaches. So she was going to have me for like just 2 weeks. But then it ended up that she had me for both years, 2 years. And she's still like, she's coming here tomorrow for Thanksgiving to me.
Oh,
so,
cool.
She's like my extra mom today. So,
awesome.
that I had her there, she learned me so much. Like I was lost. Like I came here, I was 20 or 21, whatever. But like still I was, I was lost because, for myself in foreign country for the first time. And it was tough, but she was an extra mom and she still is. So it's a big shock, culture shock, but yeah, I was lucky.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I want to ask about this Oklahoma team too, because you made an immediate impact in the NAHL, had 52 points in 55 games that first season. And then the following year kept a pretty similar pace. You had 40 points in 50 games. I mean, what do you remember the most about that experience? Playing in that league, and how do you feel like it allowed you to kind of be best prepared for what you were going to eventually see at the college level?
Yeah, no, I mean, first of all, it was a big difference in, how the hockey was played, compared to the G20 league that I was playing in the year before. It's way different. Like the sheet is smaller, obviously, but then also like it's more physical and, you don't have any time with the puck and all of that stuff. And there's fighting and all of that stuff. Never seen before. So it was different, but we had such a great team there. I mean, we won the cup that year. So we had a great team and made it easy for me to came into, and, I didn't really had to stress or, I had a really good role on that team and everyone was so nice. So it made it so easy for me to, fit in there well. So I learned a little different type of hockey, I think, that, made me a little bit different of a player, going to the net more and, focusing more on, face-offs and, stuff like that, which had a big impact on my game. So, yeah.
I got to ask, did you get in any fights?
I did not.
I figured.
He doesn't look like the fighting kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, we already had like 4 or 5 guys that were taking the fight. So.
Oh yeah. You got your guys. You set them aside.
Yeah.
That's your job.
I didn't know if there was ever a time where you're like, maybe I got to get one of these in before I get out of juniors for a bit.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think my parents would have been that happy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, obviously you end up committing to Lake State. You touched on a little bit that you felt it was the best place for you, but you walk us through that decision and what were you looking for out of a college, and why was Lake State that best fit?
I mean, first of all, I think the Sioux is not the biggest of a town. I mean, it matches my hometown pretty well. A smaller town. Not a lot of people, and I think that's I like that because there's not a lot of chaos going around, and you can be on your own a little bit, away from the rink and all that. So I think that's a big part. And then I just got a great, when I was talking to the coaches, they were really nice, and I liked how their idea of life and hockey, and I like the facilities and just the whole idea. So really, it was the whole thing that made Lake State feeling good for me. So
I think Jared can attest to this. We love getting the chance to talk with Coach Witten.
Oh yeah,
Certainly this year too, they've taken some big strides into investing into the program big time, which is just huge for college athletics. I mean, any program that does that investment, and I feel like he's kind of been that the person to spearhead a lot of that in a lot of ways. But your freshman season, man, you enjoyed a pretty solid start too. You had 12 points on 6 goals, 6 assists. As a matter of fact, you had 3 goals in your first 4 games as a college player, including your first ever goal against Michigan State on opening weekend. How do you think you were able to get off to such a fast start at the college level?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really expect, my goal was to be in the lineup. I came to training camp and, I just wanted to fight for my spot to be in the lineup every night. And I get the chance to pull it on, that first weekend. And, after that, I don't think I looked back. I think that, I'm always trying to do the easy, the simple stuff good, the habits every day, either if it's on practice or games or in the gym, whatever. And I think, like I said, I think that's something that the coaches like, because, I'm a guy that you can rely on. And, coming in as a freshman, I'm not gonna, make my guy and, go top shelf, but I might, do the right decisions maybe, and, be a guy that you can rely on. So I think that's a big part.
Did you, we like to ask this question to a lot of people, and I feel like this is a fun one for you because your first weekend, you guys played Michigan State, obviously one of the better teams in the country. Did you have a welcome to college hockey moment where you were like, whoa, this is a little bit of a different beast?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, we were playing Michigan State, and probably one of the best teams in the country, and you could feel like during the warm-ups that, yeah, this is gonna be a fun night. And my first shift, I remember I was just trying to get down on the forecheck and get a hit in to get into the game, and it felt like a fast game, and compared to the Null, it was it was a big difference. Yeah,
I can imagine.
Yeah.
But now, obviously, you're a sophomore now. You got to experience a full year of college hockey, being a student athlete for a full year. What was that like for you, and just kind of coming back into the program as a sophomore? And how did you maybe kind of focus your training on the offseason to come back a little bit different, maybe a little bit bigger, faster, stronger as a sophomore now?
Yeah. So after last season, we're sitting down with the coaches, and the main thing that we were, or especially me, that I was thinking about that, I really wanted to improve on was my skating. So I was really working on my skating over the summer, trying to get faster, to get that stride lengthening a little bit, and to really work on my skating, all parts of it. And I felt like I'd really improved the things that I wanted to improve on. So coming in here to training camp, I felt faster, and it felt really good. Even though I was, the first couple months, maybe I didn't feel like I really where I wanted to be anyway, but I tried to fight it through, and, I had some, adversities that I had to fight through, but no, it's different from last year. I'm feeling more confident skating too. So that was the big part for me over the summer.
Did you go back home to Sweden in the summer?
Yeah, I did. I was home for a whole summer.
What does an off season in Sweden look like? Obviously trying to find some time at the rink too, but I'm sure it's not a bad place to be in the summer.
No, it's nice for sure. I mean, we have great lakes, we have the ocean, we have some great food. So yeah, no, it's really nice. Working out with friends, skating with coaches, and it's you get a little bit of everything in Sweden in the summers, I think. So yeah.
When you go back home and you get to skate with maybe some old friends or some other coaches, and you're coming from an American game too, and is it a lot of maybe kind of mixing the two styles of a European game and an American game, and maybe showing some players, hey, this is how we have to play here in the CCHA, and they're showing you, hey, maybe we have to play out a certain way like this in the SJ or wherever they're playing. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's true. I mean, one part I think is that, after playing in the South, in all South and CCHA, it's a lot of physical here. And, coming back, playing in the summers, 3-on-3, whatever, when I'm coming in there and playing physical, like, no one's very happy. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you have to change that up over the summer a little bit, maybe. And not going net front as much and stuff like that. But, no, I think that my game has changed a lot since I came here, to the good part, because I feel like I'm using my strength more here. And one thing might be though that my skating, I've not been using my skating as much here as I did in Sweden before, and I can't tell you why, but I'm trying to do it more now. So like I said before, I was working a lot over the summer or on it, and I'm gonna keep doing so.
Well, one guy we want to ask about in that forward group, a friend of the podcast, Jared, Connor Milburn. He's been an electric player for this team for the past 3 years. Just him and maybe what he brings off the ice and who he is on the ice. What stands out about, just the way he approaches the game?
Yeah, no, he's our leader. I mean, he's our captain, and he's such a great person. Last year when I came here, he was one of the captains, and as a junior, and he's just, I think he's a leader as a person. He leads by example. If it's on the ice, off the ice, in school, whatever it is, he's just a good person, and I think that takes you a long way. And for us, he's been such a great player. Impact player, but the biggest part is how he's off the ice. I think he's such a good person, and I think that for young guys coming in, he's a guy that you can go talk to if you need or whatever. And him and his brother Regan, they're really good people. So people that I look up to for sure.
One more before we get into the fun questions we have at the end, but you have one of the more incredible statistics in college hockey this year, and that's your face-off percentage is 60.9%, almost 61%. That is insane. That's an incredible face-off percentage. I know earlier in this interview you said that that was something you wanted to work on, especially getting to this point where you're playing in college hockey, and just how much pride do you take in that aspect of the game of being one of the toughest kids to beat on a face-off in this league?
Yeah, no, that's a big game, part of my game for sure. And I think that sometimes, I'm talking to my dad a lot about it. And sometimes if I might have like a point or whatever, a good game, but, I'm not doing good on the face-off dots, I might be a little mad or whatever. And he's going to tell me that, try to focus on other things. But yeah, face-offs is a big part of my game. And it started when I played in HV in juniors back in Sweden. We had a coach that, he was a former center for the national team, and he pointed out that you can make a career on face-offs. And I think for me, when I was younger, I was not like a goal scorer, never been something like that, because I've been like a center that's playing two-way, whatever. And face-offs is a part that everyone can be good at, and I just took pride in it, and started to practice it a lot. And from that day, I just been building on it and trying to find new things and this or that. So, and then when I came here to the Null, Oklahoma, the coach I had at the time, he said the same thing, like you're gonna gain a lot of ice time on being good at faceoffs. And yeah, here I am today. So
Absolutely.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, hey, we want to close this out with some fun stuff. These are what we call one-timers. You can kind of, give us as much or as little as you want. We will take whatever. And I think it's always fun to just hear everybody's perspective that we have on the show. First question we got for you. You've been here two years now in the CCHA. Where's the toughest place in this conference, in the CCHA to play?
Ooh, toughest place to play. I mean, I love to play down at Bowling Green. I think that was a really place to play. They get great fans, great barn, college barn. So it's a tough place to play, but it's also super fun. I think that's always like tough places are fun places to play, I think. So.
Oh yeah. We get Bowling Green a lot too. And I think that's kind of the truth, right? Like you feed off the crowd regardless if you're on the road. Yeah. How about in all of college hockey? You guys have played in some road games too away. I mean, is there a place outside the CCHA that you have really enjoyed getting to experience?
Last year we went to Ohio State. That was pretty cool. That's a really cool place. Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty big arena, right?
Yeah.
But what else? Yeah, I mean, Michigan Tech always has a good crowd and had a great student section, so that was fun to play too. There's a couple ones.
Yeah. How about this? Is there a pro player maybe growing up or now that you've always kind of admired, maybe even someone you've tried to model your game after?
Growing up, I always had Peter Forsberg as an idol.
That's an obvious one.
Yeah, he was my and even today I'm watching his highlights sometimes because I think that he was just awesome. But then I also had Henrik Zetterberg on the Red Wings.
Yep.
I think I liked him a lot because he was, two-way center. He played PK, power play. He was a captain, so he's a guy that's been looking at a lot too.
Well, I'm a Nashville Predators fan, so I got to ask about two of my all-time favorite players. One of them is my all-time favorite player, and that is Victor Arvidsson. Did you watch any Victor Arvidsson growing up? He is my heart and soul. I will pull for whatever team Arvy's on, and then obviously Philip Forsberg, right? The skill. Yeah. You've even got a little bit of the size too when you talk about being a 6 foot, 190 pound forward.
Yeah, no, I mean Arvidsson he's such a good skater, probably a lot better than me. So he's not been one that I've been looking at a lot, but power forward. But no, great players. And Forsberg, he's probably one of the best forwards Sweden has right now in NHL, and it's going to be a big part for us in the Olympics here. So great players, yeah.
I have a hard time polling against Sweden in the Olympics because of those two. And I will probably again here in a few months be polling for Sweden again because I just love watching Victor. As long as Victor and Phil are happy, I'm happy.
Yeah, I hope he makes the team, Arvidsson. I think he's
Arvy's going to be tough. Forsberg's definitely a lock, but I mean Arvy,
Half of the Wild will play for Sweden at the Olympics, so I'm good. We're gonna have two goalies playing for the Swedes.
Yeah.
So, how about this one? Maybe we'll kind of loop this into a two-parter here, but who's the most talented hockey player you've ever played with, and the most underrated hockey player you've ever played with?
I mean, tell him that it's going to be easy. That's Connor Bedard.
Of course, yeah. That's why we wanted to loop them together. Let's make it easy. Get that out of the way.
Yeah, underrated. I mean, he's not underrated, so that's not going to be him.
Yeah.
Underrated. That's a tough one. I don't know. I think when I played with I don't know, Simon Holmstrom on the Islanders.
Okay.
I think he's underrated. I think he's really underrated. I think he's he might be able to make the Olympics for Sweden.
Wow.
He's been in Bridgeport for many years. He's an 01, but he went here early and been in Bridgeport for many years. And then a couple of years ago, he came up to the NHL and he's been playing really well. He's a really good skater. He can play power play, PK. And I think he's a guy that's going to play in the NHL for many years. So I think he's really underrated.
Very cool.
Well, we've asked this one to everybody, and it's our last one we got for you. How about this? did you ever get Connor Bedard's phone number? Who's the most famous person in your cell phone?
Oh, I didn't have his phone number because I had him on Snapchat. So that was
We
that's
could
bad.
have changed that.
We've had somebody say Connor Bedard.
We have.
So we were
Oh, really?
fishing for it. It was Aaron Trotter, the St. Thomas goal. Played with him
Really?
growing up. So
And to this day, it is probably I don't think it'll
it's
ever
the
be
number one
topped.
answer. Yeah. Nobody's been able to beat Connor Bedard yet.
Is there
Yeah.
someone else? Who's the most famous
I'm,
person in your cell phone?
I'm not gonna beat Connor Bedard. I wish I had his number because then I could say him. But no. I mean, I don't think I have one that's gonna beat Connor Bedard. No, I don't.
You might just have to say Damon Whitten and call it good.
Might have to go with Damon Whitten.
Yeah. Michael York.
There you go.
Awesome. William, this is all we got for you. Thank you so much for hopping on the show on short notice, and best of luck as you guys close out the first half of the CCHA season. Like you said, it was a big 4-point weekend last weekend, and it's exciting to see where this group's going.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks, guys.
All right. Once again, thank you to William Ahlrik for joining the show, and thank you to our producer, Perry Lascaris. Subscribe to the CCHA Show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts from, and subscribe to the CCHA on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at Trent Singer and at Jared Rubado BP. You can check out our work at BemidjiPioneer.com and SiouxFallsLive.com.